Florida State will go 9-3 in 2018. That was Uncle Lou's prediction. They went 5-7. You guys might be right. I might not ever watch football. Hey, good morning, it's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, and I'm live for you on LouTube today, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it also, and in addition to that as well. I'm gonna do something a little different today. As you guys know, or some of you know, during the off season, I do individual team-by-team previews for about 50 or 60 different teams. I usually start in July, and I start pumping them out for 5 or 6 weeks in a row. I'll throw a team schedule up on the screen, I'll run through it game by game, and I will try to come up with an overall record for each team in the regular season. Now, my goal in doing those videos, and I say this in almost every preview video I do, my goal is not necessarily to get every single game right. What I'm looking for is the overall record, right? In the first couple of years that I did this, that's what I did. I just mentioned an overall record, but then people would come in the comment section and, like, for example, if I picked a team to go 8-4, 4 losses, name 4 teams they're going to lose to, Lou. They're not going to. So I changed it up, and now I go game by game, and so I do designate. If I think a team's going to go 8-4, I designate 4 losses. But my goal is to try to get as close as I can to the overall record. It's really hard to predict game by game. Nevertheless, I try it. So what I've decided to do today is I'm going to start with the first preview that I did, which I think is Michigan, and I'm going to run through the first 10 or 15 previews that I did. I'm going to put my preview up on the screen. I screenshotted my preview that I made, and then we'll see what their actual record ended up being. And you guys can go ham in the comment section about what a moron Uncle Lou is. All right, Uncle Lou was right. Uncle Lou was wrong. 2018 edition. Here we go. We're going to start with the Michigan Wolverines. Uncle Lou's official 2018 Michigan Wolverines prediction was 10-2. They went 10-2. So I got the overall record right. You can see my prediction up on the screen, so you know where I was right and wrong. But in that one, I got the record right. Texas Longhorns. Oh boy. Okay. Again, if you've been following my channel for the last couple of years, Texas is a team that I've been high on in the preseason for the last 2 years in a row. Now, a couple of years ago, to kind of let me down, and it looked like it was going to start that way this year again, right? Losing to Maryland in week 1. Texas had a pretty good year, didn't they? Didn't they win a big bowl game, too, at the end of the year? Now, keep in mind, these predictions are only done for regular season games. But, of course, Texas ended up going 9-3 in the regular season this year, making it to the Big 12 title game before losing in a rematch with Oklahoma. So Texas finished 9-3 this year. What did Uncle Lou predict back in July? 10-2. You disappointed me, Texas. You really let me down. Notre Dame. Now, I was a little late to the party on Notre Dame this year, but to pat myself on the back here, about 5 or 6 weeks into the season, I did start saying Notre Dame was going to go undefeated, which, of course, they ended up doing. They finished the regular season 12-0. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to see how I did with the preseason predictions, right? So how high or low was I on Notre Dame in the preseason? They finished 12-0. Uncle Lou's official prediction was 9-3. 3 games off. That's not good. First 2 were pretty good. Michigan, I was dead on. Texas, I was 1 game off. 3 games off, I consider that to be not very good. If I'm dead on or 1 game off, I think that's really good. If I'm 2 games off, I think that's probably just about okay or average. 3 games or more off is terrible, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I probably never watched football or played it. But yeah, I did predict Notre Dame to go 9-3, and they finished 12-0. What an idiot. Nebraska. Now, this was a hard one to predict in the offseason. Wasn't it? Entirely new coaching staff and a new offensive scheme and a freshman quarterback that was going to be playing. It made it really, really hard to predict Nebraska's record for 2018. And during that video, I mentioned that multiple times. I also mentioned the fact that the Big Ten I thought was going to be pretty good in 2018, and even though I like Scott Frost as a coach, I did not think that the talent level at Nebraska was going to be enough to get them anywhere near 8, 9, or 10 wins. Now, I got called an idiot in the comments section of this video a whole lot. What did I predict for Nebraska to do in 2018? 6-6. And looking back on it now, because of course they finished 4-8, you would have been happy with 6-6, wouldn't you? Yeah, I got beat up in the comment section on this video probably as bad as any video I made in the offseason. It turns out Nebraska fans were a little bit, or expectations were a little bit too high in the offseason. So I was 2 games off on that one. Oh, Jesus Christ. Virginia Tech. Okay, let's put my prediction up. Ten and 2. Ooh. Of course, they went 6-6. A terrible year. That loss to Old Dominion, right? So yeah, Uncle Lou was clueless on this one. Dead wrong. Off by, what is this? 4 wins off. Not good. Not good at all. Texas A&M, another one that was hard to judge, right? Texas A&M had some talent, right? Definitely not a Nebraska situation. Yes, they had a whole new coaching staff, but Texas A&M had some talent, and they had some returning players at key positions. So not quite as hard, I don't think, to try to forecast Texas A&M's 2018 schedule as it was Nebraska's. Nevertheless, there were a lot of question marks there, and of course, they're in a division with some tough teams. What did I predict? 8-4. 8-4. They went 8-4. Now, of course, you can see where I was right and wrong in terms of which games they would win or lose, but nevertheless, I get an A+ on that one. Out to the Pac-12 now, Washington Huskies. I was really high on Washington in the offseason, right? I thought they would run through the Pac-12 like poop through a tin horn. Turns out they weren't quite as good as Uncle Lou thought they would be. Here's my prediction for Washington. 11-1. Of course, they were unable to get there, finishing at 9-3. 2 games off on that one. Missed by 2 games. I think Washington's season was a disappointment, right? I mean, they were the favorite heading into the season. A lot of people had them at 12-0. I mean, yeah, the Auburn game was 50-50 heading into week 1. I missed that one by 2 games, but honestly, I'm not too upset about that one. I had them at 11-1. They finished 9-3. Still an okay year for Washington, even though they didn't quite meet expectations. But there you go, Uncle Lou, 2 games off on that one. Vanderbilt. Yeah. Good morning, Jared and 2. Vandy, man. Not a lot of expectations for Vandy heading into 2018. A lot of people had Vandy picked to win 3 or 4 games. A whole lot of people had Vanderbilt picked to win 3 or 4 games. They ended up going 6-6 and making a bowl game. So, in my mind, a good season for Vanderbilt. No knock on this. Isn't a trash talk video, so no knock on Vandy here. But anytime Vanderbilt can get bowl eligible, that's a successful season for Vanderbilt. That's just the state of their program right now. I mean, let's just be realistic about it. So, what was Uncle Lou's prediction for Vandy? Was I right? Was I wrong? Was I close? 4-8. Vandy better than Uncle Lou thought they would be. Shout out to you, Jared. Now, I know Jared in the offseason was higher than I was on Vandy. Jared definitely had Vandy making a bowl game, so shout out to you, Jared. Point for you, and let Uncle Lou hold this L here. Georgia, boy, okay. Here's another one where Uncle Lou was called an idiot in the comment section a whole lot, for different reasons. Okay, we all know Georgia went 11-1 this year with a loss on the road at LSU, right? If you go back and watch my Georgia preview video, I predicted this one dead on. I was dead on the money on this one. I predicted Georgia to go 11-1 with a loss at LSU. I explained the reasons why in the video. Kirby Smart had never beaten an SEC West team on the road. That held true. We toted another L in Death Valley this year against LSU. So I had a lot of Georgia fans telling me I was an idiot because Ed Orgeron didn't know what he was doing, which I agree with, and that LSU didn't have any talent, and that we would road grade them, and I'm an idiot, and this guy's not a real fan, that whole routine. And then I had a bunch of other people who aren't Georgia fans, mainly Florida and Tennessee fans, telling me I was an idiot. Georgia was going 7-5. You can't replace Nick Chubb and Sony Michel. You're an idiot. You got no leadership on defense, blah, blah, blah. So in any case, though, almost all of you were wrong. And Uncle Lou was right when it comes to the Georgia prediction. But have a good morning, though. Ohio State. Man, Ohio State, a team I'm notoriously hard on. Right? You got to realize this is a trash talk channel. So let's look at my preview and see if I really thought Ohio State was going to be a terrible team in 2018, like you might think I would think if you watched the trash talk videos during the season. What did I predict for Ohio State back in July when I made this preview video? Oh, 11-1. Well, holy moly. What do you know? Ohio State ended up going 11-1. Now, I didn't get their loss right, but like I mentioned at the beginning, that's not really my goal. My goal is to try to get the total number of wins, try to get the record right. Yeah, it would be great if I could pick every single team they actually lose to. And like I said, I try, and I told you the reasons why I try, but 11-1. That's 2 in a row there where Uncle Lou got the total number of wins right on the money. Maybe I do watch football. West by God, Virginia. How many people were surprised by the season that West Virginia had? Raise your hand. Notice I'm not raising my hand. I was real high on Will Grier heading into the season and West Virginia's offense in general. They had some NFL wide receivers, and of course, everyone and their brother was in love with Will Grier. My question marks were on West Virginia's defensive side of the ball. So, what was I wrong about? Well, in my opinion, West Virginia's defense ended up being better than what I thought it would be, particularly up the middle. I'll give them some credit there. West Virginia fans tried to tell me that in the comment section on this video, that I was drastically underrating their defense. I don't know if drastically is the right term, but I will agree with you. West Virginia's defense ended up playing better this year than I thought they would. I predicted West Virginia to go 9-3. 9-3. They went 8-3. Of course, they had a game canceled against NC State that they did not make up. So they only played 11 regular season games. So I predicted 9-3. They went 8-3. So I could give myself half credit, I guess, for getting that one right. Although if you look at the prediction, I had them picked to lose to NC State, which they ended up not playing. So obviously one of these 3 losses that they had, none of them were to NC State. Had they played NC State, my opinion, I think West Virginia ended up being a better team than NC State this year. So I think West Virginia would have beat NC State and finished 9-3, but I can't go back and give myself credit for a game that wasn't played. Point is, they went 8-3. I had them pick 9-3. I still did pretty good on this one. All right, Florida State, and you can toss this one in the Virginia Tech category. Obviously, my prediction was way off on here. There's no sense in even waiting to put this. Here's the prediction here. I predicted Florida State to go 9-3. I thought Willie Taggart's offense, even though I knew it would take a year or two for Willie Taggart's offense to get up to full steam, I had no idea, and hardly anybody, I think, had any idea Florida State's offense was going to be this bad in year one under Willie Taggart. Florida State's defense played well, particularly in the first half of the season, and particularly in the first 3 quarters of a lot of those games, and then eventually they just wore out because Florida State's offense was just unable to get anything going on offense. Couldn't keep drives alive. It was really hard to watch Florida State play football on offense the first half of the season. Of course, they ended up going 5-7, so I'm way off here. 4 wins off here. I had them at 9-3. They went 5-7. Again, terrible prediction, Uncle Lou. Obviously, I'm probably just an SEC homer. Obviously, never watch ACC games, I guess. Don't know what I'm talking about. But if you're honest with yourself, you probably did not have Florida State going 5-7 this year either. But unlike you, I put my predictions out for the world to see so that you guys can laugh at me every January like we're doing now. So chuckle away, knuckleheads. Tennessee, man, they were mad when I made this video, wasn't they? Yeah, of course, Tennessee fans mad just about any time I mention their name. How'd Tennessee do coming off that 4-8 season where they went winless in the SEC? Well, they went 5-7. What did Uncle Lou predict, though? 5-7. I trolled Tennessee fans with this hashtag all offseason on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Any smart comment that any Tennessee fan would make to me about Georgia losing this player and that player, and you're not going to be able to replace those running backs. Georgia's going 7-5. My reply was the same all offseason. It was just hashtag 5-7. I let them know that all offseason, and it turned out Uncle Lou was right. Which is no big surprise to Tennessee fans. I've been right about Tennessee's program the majority of the time that I've been on YouTube over the last 4 or 5 years. It's just a dumpster fire. The funny thing about Tennessee fans, this isn't a trash talk, but well, what the hell? The funny thing is, Tennessee fans right now sound just like they sounded heading into year 2 under Lyle, right? Under Butch Jones. If you guys remember, Butch Jones won like 5 games, and they tried to tell you that was an improvement over the year before, and then the second season they won 7 games, and they tried to point to that as proof that Butch Jones was an elite coach and just needed a couple of years and blah, blah, blah. And the next year they won 9 games, and everybody was, and next year they won 9 games again, and I mean, they were just, they were all over themselves, and then 4-8. So you're heading down the same path again, but Tennessee's the only fan base in America that finds reason to get excited in a 5-win season, but for some reason they are. So congratulations for almost making a bowl game, but Uncle Lou nailed the prediction. Dead on the money here, 5-7. All right, 2 more here. Michigan State. Not good for Uncle Lou, I'll just tell you now. Michigan State ended up going, 7-5. What a disappointing season for Michigan State. Didn't they have like 18 or 19 starters back from their team from the year before? If I remember right, from when I did that preview video, it seems like they did. God, okay, here's my preview. 10-2. What happened, Spartans? How you made me look dumb? I don't watch football, do I? I probably never played it either. No way I'm a real fan. 10-2. I'm disappointed. All right, last but not least, Florida Gators. Florida had a good year, right? First year head coach Dan Mullen. They ended up 9-3 and 3rd in the SEC East, which is great for Florida, a team that went 4-8 last year, right? I mean, this is amazing. The fact that Florida figured out a way to win 9 games after the year they had the year before is just absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, 9-3. How hard was Uncle Lou on Florida in the offseason, though? What did I pick Florida to do? Well, let's just put the prediction up. Take a look. 8-4. So, yeah, I underestimated you, but not by much, though. And to be honest with you, this was one of the biggest swing and misses Uncle Lou had all offseason. One particular game. I trolled Florida fans all offseason with the game at Mississippi State. I said, this is going to be hilarious. Florida hires Dan Mullen away from Mississippi State. And then got to turn around and go on the road and lose at Mississippi State. And, of course, Florida ended up winning that game. And as you can see, that made the difference in me being dead on the money or 1 game off with my prediction, which I ended up being. So, again, I had the Gators at 8-4. They finished 9-3. Hats off for an overachieving season for the Florida Gators. All right, so there's some of the previews and predictions. Again, I didn't cherry pick it. I knew if I tried to go through, I thought about doing like top 10, like taking the top 10 teams at the end of the season and then seeing how I did on those previewer predictions, or just picking out like the 10 that I thought would be the most popular teams on this channel or something. But I said, man, if I do that, they're going to, and I end up getting a lot of the predictions right, these people are going to say I cherry picked them or something. So I decided to just start with the first preview I did and go through the first 10 or 15, however many this is. If this interested you, if you want me to do the next 10 or 15 in a video one day next week, let me know. Keep in mind, it's the off season. We got to come up with stuff to fill time here. So if you want me to do the next 10 or 15 teams on the list so you guys can laugh at me about how wrong I was, let me know. But yeah, there it is. Some of them I got right on the money. Some of them I was pretty close, and some of them I was dead wrong. UGA, right on the money. Ohio State, right on the money. Michigan, right on the money. Virginia Tech and Florida State, dead wrong. Florida, 1 game off. Vandy, 2 games off. Washington, 2 games off. What an idiot. All right, appreciate you guys watching. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends if you haven't already. Subscribe. What's wrong? If you're not subscribed to Uncle Lou, Jesus, Manetti, what is wrong with you? Live show tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's a call-in show. Make sure you join us. You can call in and laugh at me about this list here. Tell me where all I was wrong. But anyway, see you guys tonight. Have a great morning.